Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Just wanted to take a quick moment and go over the news that Bakkt has officially launched. Now, interesting enough, we were let known that Bakkt was supposed to go live on the 23rd, which would have actually been today when this video has actually been created. However, if you can see on Twitter, they actually went live on the 22nd. So actually earlier than when they specified to everybody in the public. But interesting enough, as far as speculation is concerned, it is possible they went live so that the Asian demographic could possibly wake up to this and maybe take advantage of something like this if they needed to. Mind you, Bakkt and this Bitcoin futures here is actually something that is 24/7. You don't have to worry about whether or not you are dealing with Wall Street timeframes or not. You can actually get yourself into a Bitcoin's future via Bakkt at any time. As you can see here, when this launched on the 22nd, they had their first Bitcoin futures trade, and it was executed at 8:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the price was at $10,115 for Bitcoin. So interesting. Now, of course, a lot of people were, obviously anticipating this, but what kind of effect did it have when it comes to the actual, process of Bakkt going live? Well, let's just take a quick look here. Now, here is a quick look at theice.com. This is basically in reference to the Bakkt Bitcoin monthly futures contracts. As you can see, it's a little bit of a lackluster at this point in time. Now, obviously so. Guys, this right here just started, so we got to give it some time. But the interesting things, guys, is that we were part of the launch of Bakkt. Imagine when 5 years from now, people are talking about how successful Bakkt is when it comes to Wall Street coming in and utilizing this. And we were already here. We were actually here way before Bakkt actually, came into existence. So something to keep in mind, guys. Check out the volume on the right-hand side there. As you can see, 28. Man, Bakkt is killing it with the volume. Nonetheless, guys, this is again the beginning stages. My guess is that once Wall Street wakes up to this and actually can take their Wall Street time, they might put their Wall Street money into this. Who knows? I do think that it's interesting. Of course, I made this joke on Twitter and a lot of people took me serious that Wall Street's not awake yet. I understand they're not awake yet, but Bitcoin, it never sleeps, right? Cryptocurrencies never sleep. Bakkt will never sleep. So given that that's the case, Wall Street money can trade at any time at this point in time when it comes to Bakkt. But nonetheless, a little bit of information when it comes to Bakkt, just to give you guys a little bit of understanding. So now that we know that Bakkt is finally launched, we also know that Bakkt actually has a very minimal amount of volume at this point in time for their Bitcoin futures, which obviously and rightfully so, it just started. Here's what to expect next, and of course this is just a quick insight for things we have already been let known about, but here we can actually get a firmer understanding of what we can expect to see. Basically, after 2 delays and 13 months of question, the Intercontinental Exchange and the Bakkt Bitcoin Warehouse Futures Contract Facilitator is now launching. Of course, that actually took place on the 22nd, as we just identified on Twitter. Trading is set to open at midnight or at the close at 2200 hours. Now, we really actually saw that again on Twitter there. That's according to Twitter versus this article. But for the first time, interested observers will be able to see how much pent-up demand there is among the big traders for this hotly anticipated service. Bakkt's data feed will be freely available through June of next year, after which it will be requiring a subscription according to the company. Of course, I would guess that really is based off of the success of this particular launch here and these Bitcoin futures, whether or not we might see them actually start charging for a subscription. But nonetheless, guys, we are definitely see this already launching, is already taking off, and now observers can actually go in there and kind of watch this, as we just identified on theice.com. Further, it says here that, as often noted, Bakkt's futures will be physically settled, meaning buyers receive a Bitcoin at expiration, whereas a futures available since 2017 at Chicago Exchange CME Group are cash settled, essentially side bets on the cryptocurrency price. But what may be most unique about ICE's Bitcoin futures contract is that they expire after a day. According to the daily contract specifications, the Bitcoin will be delivered on the 2nd business day after the contract's date. For most commodities, frozen, concentrated, orange juice, coca, and have you, the underlying asset is typically not delivered for at least 30 days. So you can easily see here, guys, that they're going to be doing this process relatively quickly when it comes to settling these Bitcoin futures. So with that being being the case, guys, like we just found out here, those particular contracts that already went on display for the ice.com, those are going to actually, be fulfilled and expire after a day's period of time. So this right here is going to be circulating quite a bit of Bitcoin every single day when it comes to these contracts, at least to what we see here. This is also, while Bakkt is offering a 30-day Bitcoin futures contract, the one-day version will essentially allow institutions to buy or sell Bitcoin in a way that's more familiar to them than the helter-skelter world of crypto exchanges. So you can easily see here, guys, you have a couple options when it comes to getting yourself into the Bitcoin futures on Bakkt, but nonetheless, they are going to be settled within a day's period of time. And of course, just as well, when you go back to the ICE, location, that site, we can easily see that it has a very minimal amount of volume, but those should be expiring within at least a 24-hour period of time from when they launched. So again, the idea is that we might be seeing some circulation of Bitcoin futures happening relatively quickly when it comes to the launch of Bakkt here. One last thing that's very interesting when it comes to Bakkt as well. Now, right alongside of that tweet that Bakkt posted about their launch time frame when it came to their first Bitcoin futures going live, they also posted a tweet stating that you can learn more about Bakkt Warehouse and our approach to regulated institutional grade custody for Bitcoin. Of course, what we see here basically is that Bakkt is going for the custody approach, which makes obviously a lot of sense when it comes to them holding on to Bitcoins for these Bitcoin futures, and the process that it does take roughly around 24 hours for one of those contracts to expire as far as the minimal contract time frame that you can get yourself into. Those can go out to at least 30 days, what we just read in that article. But nonetheless, Bakkt's warehouse and basically becoming, again, something that actually allows for them to secure your Bitcoins during the process of, again, being part of their Bitcoin futures, contracts they have. So very interesting approach here, guys, when it comes to, again, what's happening for Bakkt. They are most certainly launched and live and ready to go, and they also have themselves set up for a Bakkt warehouse so that they can actually have custody again for Bitcoin. So very interesting approach, guys. A lot of this we've already known about, but nonetheless, just to kind of give you guys a quick understanding of how this is going to work in retrospect to what we might have already known. Bakkt is launched, it is live, ready to go, and of course now we want to make sure we can see whether or not this is absolutely effective. So I really think that the ice.com is going to be our friend when it comes to monitoring a lot of this information here. See if there's, any pros and cons to these monthly Bitcoin futures here on Bakkt. Understand just as well, again, this just started, so we're going to have to wait for the volume to definitely increase. And of course, I would imagine that we're going to want to wait until we see, how this actually worked out for those who participated at the very beginning stages of those Bitcoin futures there when it launched. But nonetheless, guys, again, this is all the beginning stages. Definitely something to take in consideration when it comes to us being at the beginning of this. Well, then I think XRP You Amaze Me had it right when it comes to his most recent post on Twitter where he says, Bakkt is officially live. This confirms 7 things. 1, we were early. 2, we were in before Wall Street. 3, big money is coming. 4, crypto is a new asset class, that is for sure. 5, we were right all along. 6, put your big boy pants on and walk tall. Be confident. That's definitely an ode to the digital asset investor. And number 7, the New York Stock Exchange knows XRP will be number 1. Of course, this definitely got a lot of likes there in the XRP community. But guys, he is absolutely correct. We were most certainly early. Even if you've been watching my videos for the last couple of months or even days, guys, you were still early. You were in before Wall Street. So that means that inevitably later on down the road we're going to see some money flooding into this market if especially Bakkt is most certainly successful the way that they anticipate it to be. So something to keep in mind, guys. And interesting enough, when you have Goldman Sachs, one of those major players out there in Wall Street and finance, saying that the market is about to get wild in October, that should be a pretty good sign that we're going to see a lot of craziness take place. And we've already seen a lot of instability, if you will, when it comes to both the cryptocurrency market, how volatile it has been. I understand it's brand new, but guys, right alongside of that, the stock market has been pretty crazy as well. And now we're getting, again, reference from Goldman Sachs that the market is about to get wild in October. I would imagine that Bakkt going live is going to have an impact on that as well. So we will most certainly see about this here, and hopefully, just hopefully, guys, this right here will lead into a lot of money flooding into the market for the rest of this year here. Q4 could possibly be a very, very big month for cryptocurrencies in general. And lastly, we take a look at Google Trends here. We can see that Bakkt is actually trending, not necessarily the most amount of trends, but we are seeing a pretty nice little spike, obviously. So it definitely went live relatively soon. So a lot of attention is being placed on Bakkt right now when it comes to people researching a little bit more about this. When it comes to Bitcoin, not necessarily so much. It has tapered off. A lot of people already know about Bitcoin, so we can easily see that, you know, the trend for looking at the Bitcoin is not necessarily going to be as impactful, but for Bitcoin futures, it's most certainly gaining a little bit more attention, not necessarily as much as Bakkt, but I think a lot of that's going to change once we start seeing more activity happening on Bakkt. But really, guys, at this point in time, it's just a matter of time to see, you know, a lot more activity happening when it comes to Wall Street money hopping on board, taking advantage of Bakkt, that institutional money just as well. And hopefully we'll start seeing an increase in the price of Bitcoin right alongside of your other cryptocurrencies just as well. So you have to let me know what you think about this information, guys. I know this was a kind of quick video just illustrating here that yes, Bakkt is launched. It was a lot of things that we were anticipating when it comes to the launch of Bakkt, but it's a little bit of a lackluster at this point in time. It is the very beginning of it launching. And again, a little low volume when it comes to seeing these Bitcoin futures going into place. But like I said, Wall Street really hasn't woken up at this point in time. We didn't see a main amount of interest coming from any other demographic where they had available, you know, time to actually get themselves into any type of Bitcoin futures if they wanted to try it out. But again, all that could change. We just need to start seeing a lot more activity on that site, at least my speculation. So again, let me know what you guys think about this. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I do hope that you guys have a wonderful day. If you are new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button and that notification bell. And of course, if you know of any other information about Bakkt that you'd like to at least let everyone know, you can leave that in the comment section just as well. Outside of that, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day. Bye-bye.